Today, we're going to be like diving into something kind of different than usual. We're going to be talking about the emotional impact of music.
Okay.
Specifically, we're going to be unpacking what makes Coldplay's Fix You such a powerful song.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, as always, is...
You said powerful song for so many people, right?
Yeah. It's like, why does this song connect with so many people, so many walks of life, so many different situations? Fix You is like the go-to for people, going through it. And joining me to help unpack this, as always, is Pause the Expert. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to dive into this. This is a good one. Fix You is who doesn't love this song?
I mean, it's one of those songs, like, it's inescapable in a way, right?
It's true.
Like, it's constantly being used.
It is. Like, you can't escape it.
Yeah, but like for good reason.
Yeah.
Right.
For good reason.
It's like, if you're going to use a song for like, a commercial or something like that, like Fix You is probably a good choice.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like, it just works,
And it does work. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like if you need to add some emotional heft to a scene, cue the Coldplay.
Yeah, exactly. Fix You. So where do you even start with this song? I mean, I think the lyrics are a really good place to begin. They're pretty straightforward, wouldn't you say?
They are. Yeah, I think it's that simplicity that is part of the power of them, right?
Totally. It's like, it's not trying to be this overly, poetic masterpiece. It's just, it's raw, it's honest. It's like Chris Martin's just, pouring his heart out right to you, the listener. It's like he's right there with you.
Totally. And it's like he's speaking your language, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of like, highfalutin, metaphors and similes happening, He's just like...
Exactly, yeah. Just keeps it real.
Keeping it real. Relatable.
Relatable, that's the word, right?
It's that vulnerability. Like when you hear lines like when you try your best but you don't succeed. Mm-hmm. I mean, who hasn't felt that, right?
Oh, all the time.
It's like he's in your head.
Yeah, and that's what's so powerful about it. It's like, we've all been there. We've all felt that, sting of disappointment, that feeling of inadequacy.
Well, right. Like you're not good enough, or you're not living up to whatever potential you thought you had. It's like he gets it. And just the fact that he's acknowledging that, I think, is really powerful for a lot of people.
For sure. So we've got this, like, this kind of vulnerability in the lyrics. Like, it's sad, but it doesn't stay sad.
There's a shift.
Big time. There's a huge shift.
Yeah. How would you even describe it? Yeah. It's like you're down in the dumps, and then suddenly it's like...
Anthemic, right. It's like...
Yeah. Anthemic is the perfect word. Yeah. Like it just explodes.
It explodes. But it's a good explosion. It's not a like...
Or a positive...
Michael Bay explosion. Exactly, yeah.
Like an uplifting explosion.
An uplifting explosion. And a lot of that has to do with the melody, right? Like how it just builds and builds and builds.
The melody is doing so much work in this song.
It is. I mean, it's so simple, but...
So simple. So effective.
So effective.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was listening to it this morning and I was like, if you were to just play the chords on a piano, like it's not like revolutionary,
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my gosh, what is this chord progression? But it's the way that he puts it together with the melody and the feeling. That's where the magic happens.
It's that combination. And it's like, and it's interesting too, because like it doesn't get overly complicated, right? Like it's just this very simple.
It's a piano ballad at its core.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not trying to be anything else.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And I think that's why it connects with so many people, because it's so... It's
pure.
It's pure.
It's raw.
It's raw. And it's that thing, again, it's like, it allows the emotion to just cut through all the extra stuff, the bells and whistles and...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the melody and like how anthemic it gets. You can't talk about that without talking about the lyrics in the chorus, like, lights will guide you home.
Oh, man.
Talk about a lyric, right?
Talk about a gut punch, right.
It's a gut punch, but in a good way.
In a good way. It's a good gut punch.
Yeah. It's not like ooh, what does that even mean? It's like, like a hopeful gut punch.
Like you punched me in the gut, but now I feel better.
Right, exactly. But what do you think, or how do you even begin to unpack a lyric like, lights will guide you home? Because it's vague, right?
It's vague in the best way possible, because it allows you to bring your own interpretation to it.
Right.
For some people, it might be very literal. Like they're thinking of like, being lost in the woods, and then they see the lights of their house in the distance.
Yeah. Or just like being a kid, and you look up and your parents are there.
Yeah. Totally. And for other people, it might be more of a spiritual thing,
Yeah.
Like they're feeling lost in life, and then they find something that gives them a sense of purpose or direction. And so those lights represent, whatever that is for them.
Yeah. Like it's that beacon of hope. You know what I mean?
It's that beacon of hope. And I think that's what makes it so universal, right?
Yeah.
Is that we all have that thing.
We do.
That we're searching for.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's like we've got this amazing combination, right? We've got the lyrics, which are both, vulnerable and hopeful. We've got this really powerful, simple melody. Like, what is it about this song that makes it more than just another sad song?
I think it's that combination of things we talked about, right? Mm-hmm. It's the vulnerability, it's the hope, and it's that universal desire for connection. I think deep down, we all just want to feel seen and understood. And this song does that. It doesn't shy away from the hard stuff, but it also offers this glimmer of hope, a reminder that we're not alone in our struggles.
It's like you said earlier, it's like a warm hug. You know what I mean? Like, it's that feeling of like, hey, it's okay to not be okay. We're all in this together.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes that's all we need,
Yeah.
Just to know that someone out there gets it.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's like the power of music, right? It can connect us in a way that nothing else can.
Absolutely. And Fix You is a beautiful example of that.
It is. It really is.
Fix You isn't about having the answers or magically fixing things.
Right.
It's about presence. It's about, simply being there for someone when they're hurting, even if you don't know what to say.
Yeah, which makes you think about those lyrics in a whole new light, right?
Absolutely.
Like when Chris Martin sings "Lights Will Guide You Home."
Yeah.
It's poetic, but like, what do you think those lights represent in this context? Right. Especially given Jessica's experience.
Right, and I think that's the beauty of the song, right? It's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Those lights could be, I don't know, anything that gives us hope and direction when we feel lost. Mm-hmm. Loved ones, faith, memories.
Right.
For Jessica, perhaps Fix You itself became a source of light in her grief, like a beacon of shared experience.
And then there's that gut punch of a line, tears stream down your face when you lose something you can't replace.
Oh yeah.
It's so raw, honest, and relatable for anyone who's experienced loss.
It really is. And I think what's so impactful is how the song doesn't try to diminish or explain away the pain of grief. Mm-hmm. It acknowledges it, but it creates space for it, which I think can be incredibly validating when you're hurting.
Yeah.
Fix You doesn't offer these empty platitudes. It just, it meets you right where you are in your sadness.
Totally. It's like the music itself does that too,
Yeah.
The way the song builds, the organ giving way to this massive wave of guitar and drums.
Right.
It's almost like a sonic representation of catharsis.
You'll find it interesting that the podcast host actually compares it to those incredible live performances of Fix You.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. Seeing Coldplay live.
Yeah.
Hearing that song build, everyone singing along at the top of their lungs.
Right.
It's an emotional release on a massive scale.
No wonder people get so emotional during that song. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But even on your own, like in your headphones, that musical buildup, it mirrors what's going on inside.
Absolutely. And what's so effective about Melody Podcast is how they bring in those personal touches too.
Okay.
Like when the host shares their own story of finding solace and Fix You during a tough time.
It's one thing to analyze the impact of a song like Fix You objectively,
right?
But hearing how it's actually helped someone personally,
yeah,
it adds a whole other layer of meaning,
Totally.
It makes you realize just how powerful music can be when you're struggling.
It's a great example of how music can transcend boundaries,
right,
and connect us on an emotional level that words sometimes just can't reach. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you're right. Hearing the podcast host's personal connection to Fix You, it makes the whole conversation even more relatable.
Totally.
Because those lyrics resonate on a different level.
Totally. Like when he sings, "When you try your best, but you don't succeed." It's not just a lyric.
Yeah.
It's a feeling most of us know all too well.
Exactly. And what's so powerful about that line, and really the entire song, is that it doesn't offer easy answers or try to sugarcoat the struggle.
Right.
It acknowledges the pain, the frustration, the feeling of being completely overwhelmed. And in doing so, it allows us to just, to sit with those emotions.
Yeah.
And to feel seen and understood.
You brought up Jessica's experience earlier, and it makes me think about how those lyrics about feeling lost, must have hit her differently after experiencing such a significant loss.
It's almost as if Fix You becomes like a soundtrack.
Right.
For those moments of intense grief and uncertainty,
yeah.
the lyrics give voice to emotions that can feel impossible to articulate.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, they create a sense of shared understanding and connection.
Yep.
Like the music itself is saying, you know, it's okay to not be okay right now. You're not alone in this.
And that idea of connection, of not being alone, that's so central to what makes Fix You so powerful, right?
Absolutely.
It's like a musical reminder that even in our darkest moments, there's always a glimmer of hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Melody Podcast does so brilliantly.
Yeah.
They highlight this idea that Fix You is about more than just like fixing something that's broken.
Right.
It's about embracing vulnerability, finding solace in shared experience, and recognizing that even in the midst of pain, there's still beauty and hope to be found.
And sometimes that hope comes from the most unexpected places, like a song.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is how Fix You manages to be both deeply personal and universally relatable at the same time.
Right.
It speaks to a specific experience, loss, grief, the desire to comfort someone you love, but its message resonates far beyond those specific circumstances.
It's like it taps into something fundamental about the human experience, you know, that need for connection, for understanding, for hope, even when things feel really, really rough.
And it reminds us that even when we feel broken, lost, like we're beyond repair,
yeah,
there's always a glimmer of hope.
Those lights are out there somewhere, whatever form they take.
Exactly. And in this case, I think Fix You encourages us to keep searching for them.
Yeah.
To believe that even in our darkest moments, we're not alone.
Such a powerful message to end on.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of powerful messages, at the end of the podcast episode, the host leaves listeners with a really, really thought-provoking question.
Yeah, they do.
They ask, what song or artist has been your Fix You during a challenging time?
That's such a great question to reflect on.
It really is. It makes you think about the music that's gotten you through something.
Right.
The artists who feel like they just get it.
Yeah.
Like they understand what you're going through, even if you've never even met them, you know?
It's the testament to the power of music to transcend boundaries, I think.
Mm-hmm.
To connect with us on such a deep emotional level.
It's like sometimes music can say things that words just can't.
Yeah.
Or maybe it gives a voice to the feelings you didn't even know you had.
Precisely. And Fix You, with its combination of raw emotion, that comforting melody, and ultimately that message of hope, it embodies that power perfectly.
It reminds us that we're all in this together.
Mm.
That even when we feel broken, there's always the possibility of healing. And sometimes music can be the bridge that gets us there.
Beautifully said. And on that note, perhaps it's time for all of us to revisit those songs that have been our Fix You.
Yeah.
Or maybe even discover new ones that can light our way through challenging times.
Because in the end, you know, music has this incredible ability to make us feel less alone.
Absolutely.
To remind us that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope to be found.
And sometimes all it takes is a single song to remind us of that.
So what song has been your Fix You? Think about it. What song helped you through a tough time? Why? Let us know. We want to hear from you. We'll be right back after this quick break.